Do the 144,000 have to overcome the mark of the beast? Is what I want to answer today shortly. Before I go into what I feel is the most important series of messages with the kingdom itself, which is dead ahead on the prophetic time schedule. Now, I've had my Mark of the Beast Wake Up series. This is another part, but I'm going to kind of pause for a little bit. I want to deal with the kingdom itself because it interlays with the overall message. But I want to deal with the 144,000. Let's say anyone who overcomes for that matter. But let's just focus on that primarily here. There's some misconceptions that the Great Tribulation starts, then the mark comes, and for those who believe in the rapture, they're already out of here, which is not true. It's all a misunderstanding of prophecy, and I want to relate this as said in Scripture. You'll know the end from the beginning. There's a mystery of the kingdom of heaven, and I will show you a mystery. Actually, a couple. All interlaid with what I'm getting ready to go over. And I'm also going to put up, re-put, and reload, as to say, my Redemption of the Body series starting today. It'll be in 3 total parts, 1 today and 2 tomorrow. Due to download time, I not only recommend, I push you to see these. If you've seen them before, see them again. You're going to need to know this information, especially with what I'm going to tell you today and with the Kingdom series I'm about to do. Now, the overcomers, the 144,000, are known as those who overcame by the blood of the Lamb, word of their testimony, loved not their lives into the death. But he says also they are the first fruits unto Yahweh and unto salvation. Now he offered it 2,000 years ago. This salvation is the full and complete redemption as shown in Romans chapter 8. They overcame the devil after about 6,000 years and reversed through the crucified Messiah and his victory what Adam and Eve fell from. They're going back to what they lost, back to their bodies they had, and I mean before the resurrection now. Now don't click off yet. You don't want to do that. You want to see all these next 7 or 8 videos, or however many it's going to be. However I need to make. I don't care how many it takes. This needs to be brought out now because this is what's on the time schedule. Things don't seem to be moving. There's a reason why. Well, the overcomers have to start waking up. I need a mustard seed enough of people to start waking up and everyone start coming together. Everyone's starting to chip in and getting their thinking right and do what has to be done now. We got to start with a mustard seed because the kingdom of heaven is likened unto that, and it grows into a tree where the birds lodge in its branches. It starts with a mustard seed, and that's what I'm after. That's what he's after. So it's my job to get this done. So these are the first fruits unto the restoration of all things spoken by all the prophets since the world began. I'm going to go over all of that. Prophecy is like an onion with layers. It overlays, and we have to put it all together. Like a gigantic computer program, if you will. It has all these zeros and ones, right? We got to put it all together to draw out the full picture. But dealing with the mark of the beast is the issue here. And this is where I need you to focus, because it interlays with everything. If you watch these videos, and you need to watch all of them, don't click off, you're going to see what the teachers on the net and in the churches are never going to tell you because they don't know. And they're telling you the market hasn't even been here yet. Really? That's not the case. I want to bring this out in Revelation 15 verse 2. Just this one. And I saw something like a sea of glass mingled with fire, and those who have Now notice this, and those who have the victory over the beast. Now notice what this says. Over his image and over his mark and over the number of his name, standing on the sea of glass, having harps of Yahweh. And this talks about the 7 plagues. So we think, well, the mark starts only after the tribulation because of that. That's not the case. He only says that they have the victory. Here's the part I need you to focus on. Because prophecy clearly shows that the 144,000 and those with them are in places of safety before the tribulation starts. Well, free and protected from the serpent's wrath and out of his wrath on this earth. That's what I'm wanting you to see this. They're already in a place of safety at the point great tribulation begins. We're in periods of tribulation now, but not the great tribulation. So if they're already in a place of safety, but he says here they have victory over the beast and over his image and over his mark. Now how's that possible? How's that possible? This is at the time of the plagues, but they already have the victory. You can't have the victory over the mark of the beast if you didn't go through the mark of the beast. You don't have a victory over who's the fastest runner in the relay race if you never showed up to the race. You didn't get to be elected the governor of some state if you never ran for election. I don't agree with elections, but using that as an analogy. So they have the victory over the mark and his image and the number of his name. So that means the overcomers went through it as well. That's what I need you to see. The mark came before the Great Tribulation. And as I go into this series, I'll show you that these are the first fruits unto Yahweh and unto salvation. They elsewhere here, and I'm not getting into this today. Revelation 14:4, 144,000. These are the ones who were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. They follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These were redeemed from among men, being first fruits unto Yah and unto the Lamb. First fruits of what? The first ones from Adam and Eve's day that came back to Adam and Eve's state. Our bodies will be restored before resurrection and the return of the king, for sure, restored from the bodies Adam and Eve had before they fell, before the resurrection. Romans 8. Don't click off. Redeemed, the first fruits unto the redemption, the restoration of all things, Acts 2. Romans chapter 8, the redemption of the body. They're totally redeemed back, healed. This is called making his enemies his footstool, a good part of it. Redeemed body, soul, and spirit as Adam and Eve had before the fall, but not the resurrected body. Do you see it? You'll see it as we go along. But yet, before they got there, they had to overcome the mark of the beast. They had to overcome it to be restored to the redemption of the body, the soul, and the spirit. See, we're in our fallen state, and we had to overcome the mark of the beast. It's already been here all along. You can email me. I'll send you the links to powerful documentaries that prove beyond the shadow of a doubt through scientists, doctors, and especially all from Genesis to Revelation in this Bible prove beyond the shadow of a doubt the jibs is the mark. Now here's the problem I need you to focus on. These are the first fruits unto Yahweh and unto salvation. These are the redeemed Adams and Eves of the last days. They pick up where they fell. The king was crucified, bought us the victory, paid the restitution price. Now these are the first fruits in the last days that takes the earth from Satan through dominion. If they're the first ones since Adam and Eve's day to overcome the serpent, and they were being fruitful, which is what we're doing, we're learning, we're growing, multiplying, starting with the mustard seed, replenishing the truth, rebuilding the old ways places, for everyone else, start getting their doctrines right, subduing the earth and taking dominion of it. That was never canceled because they fell in the garden. It just went on a 6,000-year time delay. The Father already had that plan from the beginning, for the Lamb he already planned to slay the Lamb from the foundation of the world. You see that in Scripture. So if these are the first ones to go back to Adam and Eve, well, guess what they had to do? That's what I need you to see. They had victory over the mark of the beast. Now think real deep. I need you to focus on this before I get into this series. I really need you to see what I'm trying to point out here. What they're not going to tell you. You will know the end from the beginning. If you want to know how the end of the world is going to go, we have to study the beginning, because that's how it ends. In the beginning, the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve, they walked with the Father. They had not sinned. They weren't going to die until they sinned. Did you see that? They were fine till the serpent came along. The serpent came. That's what we need to see in reference to the last days. The Father says, there's that tree in the midst of the garden of good and evil. Do not eat or you will surely die. And here comes along the serpent. What does he do? This is exactly what happened starting in 2020. He says, did Yahweh really say you will die? You will not surely die, but you'll be as gods knowing good and evil. And he beguiled Eve, deceived Eve. They say you can't be deceived into taking the mark. I just had a video over that. Yes, you can. People can be deceived, and they were. She was deceived, and she sucked Adam in through her deception. So yeah, she could be deceived. People says, well, the Father is loving. He will not allow people to be deceived. And how come he allowed Eve to be deceived and causing 6,000 years of misery because of it? What happened in the last days starting in 2020? There was a tree of good and evil that they were not to eat of the fruit thereof in the Garden of Eden. It was there. There's one in the last days too. And once again, through deception. Not Satan just walk up and tell us, hey, look, this is the mark of the beast. Either take it or die. It didn't happen that way. He deceived. Just like he did Eve. He beguiled her as he did this world. Through the tree of good and evil. Every time we have a tree of good and evil, starting in 2020 especially, that did just that. And these here have the victory over the mark. They achieved a victory. We achieved it. We didn't take it. So he comes along as he did to Eve. Did Yahweh really say that this is the mark of the beast? This is not the mark of the beast. It's a precursor. It's a grain of rice chip. It's a tattoo. You can repent from it. It's not time yet. The Antichrist is not here. This is not the mark of the beast. You will not surely die. The tree of good and evil, the serpent, to all the people. Here's the tree of good and evil, the last days, full of internet people, preachers, all across telling you it's not the mark of the beast yet. It's not here. You will not surely die by taking the COVID jibs. You're not going to die. You will not die, but you'll have your own version of good and evil and be able to explain it away because it's not the mark of the beast yet. They ate from the tree of good and evil. The greatest test given to Adam and Eve was given to the entire world starting in 2020. Do you see it now? The overcomers did not take of this fruit. Satan and all his internet teachers and preachers told you, you will not surely die because it's not the mark. It's not time yet. Because their versions of prophecy was always wrong. There's no rapture, then the Antichrist and the third temple, and then the mark comes. There is no rapture, no third temple. None of that is true. If they want to stage something like that to throw us off, whatever, go ahead, but it's still not in the Bible. It's the mark sitting in us, the temple. 1 Thessalonians chapter 2 or chapter 3, I think it's chapter 3. It's right there. That's what he means, sitting as God, being as God in the temple. Being as our own gods, knowing our own form of good and evil. It's not time yet, it's not the mark. We will not surely die. This is not surely the mark. It's not here yet. He don't want you to know. He's trying to convince you it's not here yet. You will not surely die. Because 1,000+ internet jerks are telling you it's a precursor. It's not here. It's a tattoo. Well, you get an arm, it's not right on the right hand. They don't understand that either. They're telling you from there, all the whole tree of good and evil teachers out there are telling you their knowledge of good and evil and leading people into damnation because they will surely die. It is the tree of good and evil. Period. The tree of good and evil was here in the garden and it's here again. Except this time, internet full of liars, churches full of liars. Minus the few out there who got it right. Congratulations to the good guys. But where the true teachers are outnumbered, like Elijah, 450 to 1. In reality, what was it? 400 at Jezebel's table, 850, whatever you want to call it. Same principle. We overcame the tree of good and evil in the last days, and we did not eat of its fruit, people. We didn't bow to the devil's deception. We forsook the fruit while in a fallen state to be raised up in the future to a redeemed body Adam and Eve had. They took the fruit to fall to begin with. Eating the fruit caused the fall. Through the Messiah, we go back into their original state before they fell by refusing the fruit and casting it out, opening through Emmanuel, the Messiah, in his crucifixion, back into the tree of life, back into the Garden of Eden, places of safety. You see it now. It's right there. Most fell for the tree of good and evil because all these decades, even centuries, Satan has been working on this whole world to keep them deceived. Especially with the deception that, well, he don't allow people to be deceived. That's not what Revelation says. And he deceived those who took his mark, he says. Revelation 18, through their sorcery, pharmacy, were all, not some, all nations deceived. 2020, all nations were locked down. All nations were affected. Yes or no? Take your pick. You have to answer one of two ways. And only one can be true. Which is it? This is what took place, dear people. the 144,000 and anyone else to be saved have victory right here. Have the victory over the beast and his image and his mark and over the number of his name. They didn't get that victory once the 7 plagues are starting to fall. It means they already had it from beforehand, which got them to where they are on this sea of glass. And it took place before the Great Tribulation actually began. The mark came first. Not after the tribulation starts, like most have been teaching. It's error because it's already proven in current history that it took place starting in 2020. Period. It started. How can we take it any other way when it can be proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that is the mark? It is. They have the victory over the serpent. And now that victory has to manifest into a mustard seed. The mustard seed will grow fast. Once this move starts from just a handful, where the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a mustard seed that grows into a big tree, it'll grow quickly. Daniel, a stone that hits the feet and grows into a mountain. A little stone grows into a mountain is kingdom. And it's going to grow fast. Because once those who are left start seeing this move, who is not going to want to partake of it? It's going to be a fast move, but the rest are holding the truth in contempt, will audaciously enough be out to condemn us. Because they're lost anyway. They were never going to see the truth. And he said most wouldn't do it in the last days or any time in history. Because normally the crowds are always wrong. Normally the crowds are always wrong. You might find a few cases that's not so, but in overall terms, that's a fact. These came to redemption, though, as the first fruits. The first fruits since Adam and Eve. Moses didn't make it in time. Elijah didn't. No. Jacob, no, sorry. Malachi, John the Baptist, Peter, Paul, no. None of them made it. Remember what it says, was it Hebrews 11? And this is talking about just from Old Testament times, because the New Testament is still being written. A whole big list. These all died in faith, not having received the promises. They foreseen the promises, they didn't get to receive them. The first fruit does taste the first of the promised fruit, the restoration of all things, the kingdom being established. Because the overcomers are called. And nobody chooses his or herself to be a part of it. There is no such thing as, well, I decided one day I'd like to be one. It doesn't work like that. You'll know who you are, but you were called by someone else's choice. John the Baptist was handpicked. Jeremiah, Malachi, Obadiah, they were handpicked. Paul was handpicked. The adoption to wit. Romans 8, waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God. The adoption, when you adopt someone, you choose who you want to adopt. I'm going to adopt this one and this one and this. He handpicks who he wants. Period. Well, that's called predestination. I don't want to hear that. It has nothing to do with the subject at hand. He picks who he wants. He chooses who he wants for his army. Because he knows who's going to get it done. And it's up to us to find out if we're on that list or not. You should know, are you going through the works of the cross? Are you learning? That's what should tell you. What's the story? Are you in refusal of the truth? Or are you walking into the truth? That's a good start. Now that's between you and the Father Yahweh. You're going to figure that out. But he handpicks for his first fruits who it's going to be. And there's 144,000 of them. 12,000 from each tribe. And in the book of Daniel, I'll be going over this. He says, the kingdom shall not be left, the establishing of it, to other people, non-Israelites. There is no grafting of anybody in. Any nation can be saved except for the counterfeit seed line of the devil. But the kingdom will not be left to be established to other people. It started with Adam and Eve, and it ends with Adam and Eve. It's the 12 tribes of Israel that will establish the kingdom. And there's 12,000 from each tribe. The Father knows how to count. There are those who say, well, I don't see anybody around, so it's symbolic. It's not symbolic of nothing except 12,000 means 12,000. Not 4,921 for Judah and Ephraim, 392, and Issachar, 4,001, and on and on. No, it's 12,000 per tribe. That's what it says. He wasted a whole chapter for nothing if we believe otherwise. Are we going to possibly insult John and say, you wrote wrongly, so I'm going to symbologize that? You know how to count. You knew how to write. Do I know how to believe? So don't listen to those teachers out there who's trying to program your minds, but telling you there isn't really 144,000. The Father isn't that precise. Really? They had to build the temple precisely. You built Moses. You're going to build the tabernacle precisely. When I tell you this many rings on this side of the tabernacle and on and on and on, it's not 10 on each side but 9 on the third one. No, however many rings. 4 rings on the Ark of the Covenant. How about on this side's a little heavier, so I put 2 on this side, 3 on that. No, when the Father says 4, he means 4. When he says 7 days, not 4.5, not 8, not 12, 7 days. He's precise to the number. Period. When he says do it, do it. Therefore, 12,000 means 12,000. He does not joke. He doesn't play games. I'm not trying to yell at people. I'm trying to, for those teachers out there who try to program society into a lie, twisting this word for what it doesn't say, don't listen to them. I'm even getting off the subject. I'll close this one out. But the overcomers overcame the mark. They have the victory. His overcomers already have the victory right now. But there is people out there saying they're now passing laws in the states where now they're going to try to. Now this is where we got to get moving. This is why I got to go over the Kingdom series, and you need to watch every last one, starting with this one and the Redemption of the Body series, and what I'm going to come up with, because now they're passing laws starting in Washington, New York, of course, always, California, you count on it, and it's going to spread across the country quick, that now they're going to force these. It's no longer going to be, you have an option, you have 4 or 5 cops throw you to the ground, and they'll put these things in you and force people to take the abomination. We have to get out of America, the Babylon. We have to have places of safety. This is where it's heading right now. They're going to force the abomination now. Force the mark. You say, well, they can't do that. Yeah, they can. We have to be delivered from it. We got to start praying and coming out, and do so quickly. This stuff is not fake. I'm not making this up. We have to come out. So we need a mustard seed. We all need to contribute and put it together. We all need to work together. Doing what little I can do out here. And that's not much. But what little I got to fight with, I'll fight with it. Time is short. Yeah, I know world events seem to be going slow, but it still is short from his point of view. We got to get moving. Some way, somehow, a mustard seed. And then it grows. Then we can start going to places of safety and get the rest of our training. All of us have errors. Me, you, everybody. None of us are great. Period. He'll set all our crooked paths straight. The idea is to get our focus correct, be in preparation for when we enter Kingdom University in the places of safety. Learn what is left to be learned, get it right, apply it, get this faith thing down, and start subduing this earth. The king does not come back to establish the kingdom. We have to, or else he can't return. I will get into that because that's one of the biggest lies the devil has foisted upon an unsuspecting world. Of course he wants the whole world to believe the king's going to establish the kingdom. He has no problem with that because that hands him his victory on a silver platter. Why do you think this world keeps getting worse? Because the churches and all the people still believe the king is going to establish it himself. He can't. He'll do it through us, but he has to stay there at his right hand till it's done through us, the first fruits, who were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. Big mystery there. Not defiled with women. Now the word were should say are, not defiled. Meaning they came out of, the church is symbolized as female, they came out of, to start with, the churches and came into the truth. They're no longer defiled with false doctrines. Now they're virgins, which is a whole big mystery. Shouldn't be hard to see, but none of us are sexual virgins, right? Maybe, I don't know, but not me. Not you probably, right? What type of virgins? Well, they're first fruits. They're definitely the first to return back to the original body of Adam and Eve before the fall. That's being a virgin. Because when I was born, I was still in the fallen state. Yes? Right? It goes so much deeper. It's not just that. There's a whole bunch of things that goes along with this. That's just part of it. That's just scratching it a little bit. There's more to it. But I'm going to end this one here. And I definitely recommend today, tomorrow, watch all 3 parts of Redemption of the Body series. I mean, it's a year ago I made it. It's even more important now than it was back then. Now it's got more power. You must see it and see what's being brought out as I go over this kingdom series that I'm going to make. I want to bring these things out. This has to be done. We got to scream our voices at the devil and take his tree of good and evil and burn it to the ground. Because that tree of good and evil caused people to take the jibs. You will not surely die. This is surely not the mark. It's surely a precursor. And every other excuse the tree of good and evil through misunderstanding of the scriptures has caused. How about that? Watch these videos because time is crucial. And we have to get moving. Time to stop this sitting around, letting the devil run amok and take this earth from him by believing and knowing in Scripture that's what we're supposed to do, where the king can never return. He won't leave the Father's right hand until all his enemies are his footstool, and we'll find out what is involved with that. That's where we come in as the first fruits to get it done.